Native American battles. Native American battles were a huge part of American history, especially since some of these wars were lost by America. Even though we destroyed the natives anyway and took their land like a bunch of savages, there were still a few battles that America lost greatly. Hulapie War. One of the first major wars was the Hulapie War. This war was a conflict between the Hulapie natives and the U.S. Army. Following the death of the Yavapai leader, the natives started raiding American settlements. Later, the natives surrendered due to many diseases that wiped out their population. Powder River War. 1 year just after the Hulapie War, the Red Clouds War had started, also referred to as the Powder River War. Although it didn't start just because we were fighting over a red cloud, trust me. This war was started to determine who would gain control over the Powder River country. European Americans had blazed the Bozeman Trail. 81 U.S. soldiers died. It was the worst defeat on the U.S. until 10 years later when the Battle of Bighorn started. Battle of Little Bighorn. 10 years later, when the Battle of Little Bighorn began, and Cheyenne Indians defiantly left their reservations. To force the large Indian army back to the reservations, the army dispatched 3 columns to attack the Sioux village just along the Rosebud River. Ignoring orders to wait, the general decided to attack. This attack was the pinnacle of the Indians' power. They had just achieved their greatest victory. Nez Perce War. In 1877, just 2 years later, there was conflict between the Nez Perce tribe and their allies against the U.S. This war created the non-treaty Indians. They were to give up their land and move to reservations in Idaho. The forced removal was also violated the Treaty of Walala in 1855. Bannock Paiute War. Bannock War of 1878 was another armed conflict between the U.S. military and the Bannock and Paiute warriors. The Bannock Paiute totaled about 500 warriors, and they were led by Chief Buffalo Horn, who was killed in action. After his death, Chief Egan led the Bannocks. Later, he and some of his warriors were killed. The U.S. Army forced some 500-plus Paiute warriors to be relocated to an Indian reservation in Washington. Wounded Knee. The Wounded Knee 1890, also known as the Wounded Knee Massacre, occurred on December 29, 1890, near the Wounded Knee Creek. The detachment of U.S. cavalry intercepted a band of Lakota where they had made camp. The remainder of cavalry arrived and surrounded the 4 mountain guns. On the morning of December 29th, the troops went in to disarm Lakota. The story goes that a tribesman didn't want to give up his rifle, and scuffling over the rifle quickly escalated and a shot was fired, resulting in the cavalry opening fire from all sides, killing men, women, children, and even their own troops. The surviving Lakota had fled, and the cavalry killed many who were unarmed. That's all for now. Good luck on your test.